You can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Hey, it's Amanda, and we all know that Northeast Wisconsin has some of the best events around, but trying to find them all can be tricky. So here at WGBW, we decided to do the work for you. Prevent boredom on any night by going to WGBW.fm and click events in the top right corner. You'll never have to spend forever scrolling to find out what's going on in your area. And if you got an event to share, hit us up by emailing info@WGBW.fm, bringing you local news and timeless hits while giving you the 411 on what's happening in New Wisco.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Wisconsin. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
The Elder Care Locator is here to help you live your best life as you age at home. Our call center advisors are ready to connect you with trustworthy local experts. Help is just a phone call away at 1-800-677...
Welcome back. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite. Great to have you with me on this Monday night. Coming to you from beautiful downtown, but rainy Green Bay. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are joining us from tonight. This is exciting. The Brewers, your Brewers took it to my Cubs again today, Conrad. But I will say that, I started thinking about this. This great documentary that Sean Hanish and Kelly Call did, called Just a Bit Outside. We found these guys through our pal Todd Alba. They were on his show, and then we had them on Nightlight. We had Sean on a few times. I'm still trying to get Kelly on. But I started thinking about this. Like, it's such a great documentary. I wondered how many current Brewers or manager Pat Murphy or the front office have seen this documentary, because it's so fun. It is packed with heart. And I wonder if the current Brewers have seen it and if it inspired them in any way. So I reached out to Sean yesterday, and I said, hey, I would love to talk to you about this. And he said, you're not the first person that has hinted that it might have something to do with the current Brewers hot streak. He said, but you are the first Cub fan that has mentioned it. So Sean is going to be on the show tomorrow night. We're going to have a discussion about the Cubs and the Brewers, and I thought it'd be fun to do while they're in the middle of this 5-game series that is already starting to go the Brewers' way. But I am curious about that. I think, the documentary, it could have that effect. If people see it and get inspired, they want to win for Milwaukee and the response they got when they were in the World Series in '82. That'll be a fun discussion. That's tomorrow night. Okay, so we have a phone call? Who's on the phone?
We got Kathy from Madison.
Kathy from Madison. Hi, Kathy from Madison. How are you?
Well, hi, Pete, from wherever you are.
I am just a man of the earth.
Yes. Well, a couple of things.
Yeah.
I know he's not the typical action hero, but if I were in an actual dangerous situation, I would prefer George Clooney to rescue me.
Just because you think he's cute, or you think he'd actually rescue you?
He's been in a bunch of different movies, some action movies. And plus the hospital movie anyway, so he would know, some CPR kind of stuff. But I have to ask you, Mr. Schwaba.
Absolutely.
If I may, what nationality is the name Schwaba? Or, the origin of country of origin?
Wow. Okay, so in a nutshell, it's too long of a story for the radio, Kathy. And I do want to say that if George Clooney didn't rescue you, Conrad and I would be there to pull you out of a burning building or whatever it is. But
thank you.
we're gonna. I'll tell you what. We're gonna hang up and I'll give you my answer. Thank you so much for the call, Kathy. Have a great night.
Well, thank you for your show. I love your show. Bye-bye.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Schwaba is. I've been growing up. My grandpa always just said it was Polish German. I learned later in life that it was actually neither Polish nor German. It was Kashub, which was the Kashubs were from the Danzig region between Poland and Germany. They were their own people, and that's really all I know. I'm actually mostly Irish, but I'm also Kashub apparently, or just German Polish if you want to say it that way.
That sounds like a sausage.
It does. Kashub sausage at Pfizer Forum. Who did I have this in common with? Oh, Mike Starr. The actor Mike Starr was on the show, and Mike is actually Irish and Polish. You don't, like, in all those mob movies, you always hear about, like, Italian guys like De Niro or Harvey Keitel or people like that. And you don't really hear of many tough guys that are Irish Polish, but Mike Starr, I feel like, is a kindred spirit. I wonder if Mike has Kashub blood. But either way, there goes our dog walker friend. Okay, our getting totally off track here. Our question of the night, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the call, Kathy. I'm happy to answer any question about my nationality. You're primarily German, right, Conrad?
German and Irish.
German-Irish. Okay, that's a good mix.
Yeah.
Tom Hagen from The Godfather. German-Irish. Your life is at stake. What action star do you hope is coming to save you? That is our question of the night. Let's go to some of our social media responses. Conrad says The Rock with sidekick Kevin Hart. I think you meant Hart, unless that's the porno version I'm not aware of. Those are both a couple hard guys right there, The Rock and Kevin Hart. Daniel Wheeler, this is a great one. Uma Thurman as the bride from the Kill Bill movies. Great one. Or Lucy Liu from, what's the movie she was in where she was just kicking butt all over the place? Jody Hinman. I said either one of the Jack Reachers. I like the Tom Cruise or the Alan Ritchson version. I understand Alan Ritchson was more like the Reacher in the books. But Tom Cruise is a badass and has been a badass in many movies. And I also said, or Frank Drebin in honor of our guest at 635, David Zucker. So Matt Harper, rock rap artist from here in Green Bay, says Clint Eastwood, Man with No Name. I think that's part of the trilogy, the Hang 'em High trilogy. Great one, Matt. Our pal Mike Desitel says, Lassie. Yeah, you can put an animal on there if you want, folks.
Air Bud.
Air Bud. Would you want Air Bud coming to save you or like
Yeah.
Hooch?
Air Bud can do anything.
Air Bud can't do anything, but Turner and Hooch is a pretty good.
Yeah.
Hooch wouldn't be bad either. All right, so there you go. And then our pal Rich Tallarico says, John McClane, great one. Bruce Willis, tried and true. He's proven. He did it in a skyscraper. I think he can come and save me in my little town of Marinette. So there you go. Do we have time? Let's go to some of the text lines, see what we got here, Conrad. We've got, we got some good, this is a good question. People having fun with this one. Nick from Marshall says, The Rock or Vin Diesel?
Vin Diesel.
I go Vin Diesel on that one. They're both they're almost kind of like the same guy in a way, although Vin Diesel is not a wrestler. Rich LoCascio might have issues with that, but I just compared Diesel to The Rock. Monica from Mount Horeb says John McClane, because who doesn't like Bruce Willis and a little sarcasm when you're having a crappy day? Well said, Monica. Outstanding. Okay. In the second hour, Nick Wattier is here from the Green Bay Film Festival. We'll talk to Nick about a great upcoming event they have. Should be a fun evening. They're celebrating comedy. And then after the news, from the movie Airplane, Top Secret, and Naked Gun, writer, director, and Wisconsin native son David Zucker joins me. Don't miss that, folks. It's Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Glitter in the sky, glitter in our eyes, shining just the way we are. I feel like we're forever every time we get together, but whatever, let's get lost on Mars. You want me, I want you, baby, my sugar boo. I'm levitating, the Milky Way. We're renegading, yeah, 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 yeah.
From Denmark to De Pere, this is 97.9 WGBW. As Wisconsin is hitting the road on your Harley. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
From the 97.9 WGBW Newsroom, I'm Lisa Hale with this local news update. The battle over an Enbridge oil pipeline in northern Wisconsin is heating up again. Melissa Kay has more.
Hundreds packed into a conference room at Northwood Technical College in Ashland on Tuesday for opening statements and public testimony over the Line 5 pipeline. The pipeline is owned by Enbridge, a Canadian energy company. It carries about 23 million gallons of light crude oil and natural gas a day. Enbridge wants to reroute a segment of the pipeline to go around land owned by the Bad River Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa. The company says the reroute has gone under extensive review, but the tribe wants the reroute stopped. They're worried about the risk of a spill and want state regulators to reconsider a permit issued last November. Stephanie Sosi is an attorney with Earth Justice representing the tribe.
Quite simply, DNR didn't have the information that it needed to issue the permit. It's missing baseline data, it's missing baseline information, and from there we see cascading effect.
Enbridge says if the pipeline shuts down, there would be a serious disruption to the energy market. The company is operating under a deadline. 2 years ago, a federal judge ruled that Enbridge was trespassing on tribal land. It was ordered to pay more than $5 million and remove the pipeline by June. That decision is also under appeal. Supporters of the project say it creates engineering and construction jobs that pay well. Environmental activists like Dave Backman say that while the jobs pay well, they're temporary.
Yes, it will have an economic impact in terms of transitory jobs. The majority of those jobs won't last very long.
The hearing for the reroute will take another month and a half. It's expected to wrap up in early October. For Civic Media News, I'm Melissa Kay.
I'm Lisa Hale for 97.9 WGBW News.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. The Conjuring: Last Rites, according to prognosticators, is tracking off the charts when it comes to box office predictions. The film does not open until September 5th, but experts are expecting massive returns when it comes to a horror film opening in September, with estimates ranging from $40 to $45 million at the gate. Bear in mind, this is before any reviews are in, but given the film is part of a successful franchise, the powers that be seem confident in their estimates. Let's stick with horror. Speaking of massive returns at the box office, Zach Kreger's Weapons is doing just that. The film has reached $100 million worldwide in just 1 week in theaters. It has surpassed Sinners, which pulled in $77 million in a week's time back in the spring. Weapons is crushing it globally due to approval from audience and critics. If you see it soon, you'll have time to recover before seeing The Conjuring: Last Rites. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
As Wisconsin is cheering on Bucky Badger. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Some evening storms, then partly cloudy tonight, a low in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and still a little muggy for tomorrow, highs in the low 80s. And near 80 Wednesday, a little less humid. A slight shower chance late Thursday and Friday. Currently at 62 degrees.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free.
Okay. All right, David, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks. Bye-bye. Okay. Yes. Hi. Hello. Hello. I don't have anything now. Uh-oh. Hello. Hello. I just heard something.
Hey, this is John Grise, also Uncle Rico, and you're listening to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
True
Great to have you with me on this Monday night. It's finally here, folks. Monday is here, and we get to talk about the things in life that make us happy, like movies and music and comedy. Conrad's beer can collection. A little late to the party there, but you're getting it done. Our question of the night is, your life is at stake. What action star do you hope is coming to save you? I said either one of the Jack Reachers and Frank Drebin in honor of our first guest tonight. Conrad said The Rock with Kevin. He said Kevin Hard. But he meant Kevin Hart. It was a typo.
A typo.
The Freudian typo. Right now, folks, it is my pleasure to welcome to Nite Lite my first guest. He is a legendary writer, director, producer of some of the biggest comedies, certainly in my life, but in the last 50 years. His credits include Airplane, The Naked Gun, Top Secret, Ruthless People, and he directed a couple of the Scary Movie films as well. He joins us now over the stream, Wisconsin native son David Zucker. David, how are you?
I'm good. You forgot basketball.
I forgot a lot. Look, you've done too much.
I know. It's overwhelming you, and you deserve it.
It would have cut into our time.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we can't list all these things.
It's great to have you. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm just, I've got a friend visiting from out of town, and guy I wrote another script with about Davy Crockett. He's a historian. And so we're going to go to visit another friend of ours tonight who's also into history. I'm just a total history buff, I guess. I read a lot. It keeps me out of the movie business, so that's good.
Well, you've created some history yourself, so that's kind of exciting. Hey, before we get started, I want to say thank you on behalf of all your efforts regarding Tree People. When my kids were involved through their school in L.A. up in Coldwater Canyon there, and I understand you're like the longest board member on that organization.
I am the longest serving board member in Tree People history. I think I've, for a while, Andy Lipkus, his dad was the longest one. So, but his dad died, and I was happy about that because I got to I got to be the longest. I have the record now. Yeah.
Did you pull a Tanya Harding with him and make sure that you solidified your legacy?
No, I didn't do anything to help it. I'm too upright for that, and I love trees. So, yeah, because I'm from Wisconsin, I love trees.
Yeah. Let's all right, for those who don't know your history like I might, especially since I've been reading about you for the last few days. I feel like I could have done this interview in my sleep because I'm so familiar with all your movies. But you started out at Shorewood High School. You're a Milwaukee kid, and then went to UW-Madison, where you founded Kentucky Fried Theater with your brother Jerry and Jim Abrahams before moving out to L.A. That's incredible that you guys go back that far.
We started out back in the 60s and, watching Leave It to Beaver and The Untouchables and all this stuff. Milwaukee was a place where things came to. Nothing ever came out of Milwaukee. So, we may have been a little bit unique in that regard. But, when you're from Milwaukee, you're not hot. You're Chicago, you're not LA, you're not New York. So, it was in our high school. It was very much of a very sharp wit type of place, and it wasn't tough physically, but you had to. It was kill or be killed as far as wit. So we kind of had to learn to be funny and to defend ourselves.
Did you guys stay together conscious? I mean, you're like the U2 of comedy teams, and I know you guys broke off and did different things, but it's kind of a miracle that three creative, hysterically funny people stayed together that long and made it out to L.A. and founded Kentucky Fried Theater and then Kentucky Fried Movie, all that stuff.
I think a lot of things about our history are kind of a miracle. I mean, Jerry and I grew up in the same house, and the Abrams family were my parents' closest friends. Our dads were business partners. It was called Abrahams and Zucker Real Estate. And our moms were close. Our sisters were high school and college roommates, and so we were close. And just having Jim there, and we recruited this other kid from my high school who was world class funny. His name was Dick Chudnow, and then when we got to L.A., we found Steven Stucker. So a lot of things were just, we had a lot of luck in addition to being wildly talented, of course.
That's great. And it's interesting. My son actually lives in Shorewood now and is taking comedy sports, and he did
Oh,
sketch
yeah.
at Madison with Manhole Sketch. Like, Madison has this great legacy between The Onion and you guys. It's a
Right.
great comedy college, right?
Something in the water there. And we did the
Yeah.
show for a year in Madison, right off the campus. And it was packed. And so we wanted to go somewhere where we could charge more than $1 a ticket. And that was LA, where we could get $2. So, and the first show, we started a show on Pico Boulevard, which was called, we called it My Nose, so that our listing in the LA Times calendar section every week ran, My Nose runs continuously. So, that's what passed for humor in the early 70s.
Oh, that's very funny. Let's talk about the new Naked Gun. I know that you were not part of it. I saw this in an email, and I read an article that you said that you had a script, but they chose to go in a different direction. And
Yeah,
you had about the best reaction you said. You said, I wish them luck, but, I'm sure it hurt a little bit not to be part of that. It's kind of strange to me that you weren't.
Yeah, well, it's just, I think it's ageism, really. I mean, they figure after 50, you're in a walker and drooling in a wheelchair. And, I'm drooling, but I'm not in a wheelchair. and so, and we had a great script, and we were going to reboot the whole franchise to really renew it and not just copy the old, it was 45 years old, this idea, to have an old guy like Leslie, and, they just wanted to do it again. Our concept was to not even do it in an LA cop show format. We were going to do international spy thriller like Mission Impossible, Bourne, and Bond, and with a younger actor who would have been the son of Frank Drebin, and so they just it's. I hate to use the A word, but what we do compared to this junk that they're putting out is art. So and we had, I wrote the new Naked Gun, our Naked Gun script with Pat Proft and Mike McManus, who are truly brilliantly talented writers, and it would have been great. So it's kind of tragic that I aged out. So.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting. I mean, that's what Hollywood does. They remake films that were successful. Right. But I don't understand, like, as big of a fan as I am of Leslie Nielsen, what is he, like 5 years younger than Leslie Nielsen was? I mean, the son thing didn't really resonate with me.
No, he's actually older than Leslie Nielsen was. What's his name? Liam Neeson is
Liam
72.
Neeson.
I mean, it's kind of insulting to the intelligence a little bit. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, but I heard there were some laughs in it, so good for them. And I have to say, the director, Akiva Schaffer, came to my house twice. He's a super nice guy, and I tried to give him some advice, but I kind of said, we wrote a script, we wrote something, but he thought, I think their whole team thought, younger guys, let's go young. Yeah.
My guest is David Zucker. He is a Wisconsin native son, ladies and gentlemen, one of Shorewood's own. And he's written hits like Airplane and Naked Gun and Top Secret and been a part of several blockbuster great films. And he joins me here on Nightlight tonight. I have to say, what you based the Naked Gun on, David, was the TV show From the Files of Police Squad. I discovered that, I think I was in middle school. It was one of the funniest things I had ever seen, and I was angry when it only lasted 6 episodes, and then you couldn't find it anywhere. When you guys made Naked Gun, and it's this huge hit, was that kind of like sweet revenge? Or
No. Actually, there was no revenge. I wouldn't mind taking revenge against the Paramount executives today and Seth MacFarlane, who stole my Naked Gun franchise away.
Right.
But when Police Squad came out, we just thought, I think we thought it would be easier than it turned out to be. And Jim and Jerry and I wrote and directed the first one, and then the plan was to have other writers and other directors take over and do the other. But that proved a lot harder to do, and it was so much work. And we had to be there 24/7, and you can't keep up the quality in a TV show as well as you can in a film. And so, on a Thursday night, it was, well, we have to go with this because we start shooting on Monday, and we got to do it. And so we were relieved when it was canceled. It did not bother us at all. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was. But after we did Top Secret and Ruthless People, then we thought, we've done these movies. Now we're ready. We want to do Police Squad. We love Police Squad. We want to do that as a movie. And that's what happened.
You have, we talked about your brother and Jim Abrahams. You mentioned Pat Proft. And you guys all worked together. And there are times you shared director credit. Probably because you guys were part of this great team from Kentucky Fried Theater. But how do you decide who got the directing credit? Or in some cases, all three of you took it.
We always, actually, we all three of us insisted on, number one, directing it, and number two, getting a three-man directing credit, which was very difficult because, the directors union opposed it. It was all Frank Capra, one man, one film. It's, film. And so they said, you got to pick one of you. And we said, no, we're not. We're taking a three-man director credit. And we kept going up in front of these kangaroo courts of the Directors Guild and before a committee trying to prove that we were a bona fide team. Finally, they kept turning us down. So Jerry, my brother, went down to the LA City Hall, had his name legally changed to Abrahams N. Zuckers. And so he applied again for a Directors Guild card. And their computer spat out a card saying Abrahams and Zuckers. And when the guild found out about it, they were furious. And then they had to cave in because they would have been embarrassed.
Who did you guys, you said you grew up, one of my questions for you was going to be, who are your influences comedically? But you mentioned Leave It to Beaver, but your style of comedy, I'm not maybe old enough to know this, but had we seen that before? And if not, if you guys kind of created this, who influenced you to do that?
Okay, it was the Marx Brothers and Woody Allen and Mad Magazine. So not necessarily any show on TV. Okay. Although we did like some of Get Smart, but we were really, and the biggest influence on us were straight, serious movies. So we would always redub them. And when we first saw Zero Hour, we thought this would be a great movie to redub. And then we thought, wait a minute, on second thought, why don't we just remake it with Robert Stack, Leslie Nielsen, serious actors, and have them act like they didn't know they're in a comedy, almost as though they were being redubbed. So that's what became Airplane. It was a real breakthrough for us.
All right, we're going to talk about that next. My guest is David Zucker, actor, director, producer, writer. We're going to talk about Airplane next, and a course he is teaching. He's also sort of a professor, I think you'd say. We're doing that right away when we come back. A very short break here. It's Night Light with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Reach, engage, grow with Civic Media. Log on civicmedia.us/advertise.
Appleton Cigar Company on College Avenue has been serving the community for over 25 years. If you are a cigar aficionado looking for a one-of-a-kind experience, you need to check out Appleton Cigar, which boasts the largest selection of cigars north of Milwaukee with over 706 cigars to choose from in a walk-in humidor. The Cigar Lounge offers an impressive variety of spirits and cocktails that pair perfectly with a premium cigar. For the full experience, come to Appleton Cigar at 415 College Ave, Monday through Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. For more information, go to appletoncigar.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger, who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You've heard of love at first sight, but how about mustard at first heartbreak? It's the real story behind the only mustard museum in the world, located in Middleton, Wisconsin.
Dijon mustard, deli mustard, honey mustard, garlic mustard, fruit mustard, veggie mustard.
Barry Levinson's new hobby of collecting mustard started after his favorite team, the Red Sox, lost the World Series in 1986. 7,000 jars and bottles later, the museum is thriving and he's loving it.
Oh, my favorite mustard. Who's my favorite child?
So when it comes to cutting the mustard, which state has the most award winners? The answer coming up.
On our hot dogs, on our bratwurst mustard.
That's the official fight song for the museum. And if you think Wisconsin has the most award-winning mustards, you're correct. So keep calm and mustard on for this slice of Wisconsin. I'm Terry Barr for the Civic Media Radio Network.
Today's job market is full of demand for skilled trade workers. Electricians, welders, mechanics, these and other trades are the backbone of every community. They're also a huge part in making sure the Army National Guard is always fulfilling its mission of service to our country and communities. Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. The skilled trades these soldiers perform are the same ones needed in today's civilian workforce. Army National Guard soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. With options from plumber to helicopter mechanic and everything in between, soldiers are able to select the trades that best fit their lives. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession and serve your community and country by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin.
Great to have you with me on this Monday night, folks. Hope you're having a great day. Your life is at stake. What action star do you hope is coming to save you? That is tonight's question. Drop us a stream comment or on the app, or if you're listening on the old-fashioned live radio with the family gathered around, send us a text, and we will read it on the radio. My guest at the moment is the extremely talented, extremely successful David Zucker. He is behind the creative force behind movies like Airplane, The Naked Gun, Top Secret, Ruthless People, and too many to mention. David, I have to thank you actually for another thing, too. When I had first moved to L.A., or shortly after, we had a meeting at your company, my writing partner and I, and that's where I got to meet Chevy Chase riding up in an elevator. He was on his way to a meeting, too. So that was my first big star sighting where I was trying not to embarrass myself. So thank you for that as well.
All right. Anything I can do. Yes. And don't forget basketball.
Basketball, I know. Hey, it's interesting. I heard a story about you and the Farrelly brothers and how you kind of came to their aid when they were filming Dumb and Dumber and just needed some guidance. And they called you or you and your brother Jerry. And then you also mentioned basketball with Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Is it nice to know that you've influenced other powerhouse comedy duos?
It is. It's great. In fact, I got to know the Farrellys very early, around 1984, I think, or 85. Oh, wow. I met them. I knew Bennett Yellen's sister, who was those guys' writing partner. And in fact, there's a story. We wrote this book called Surely You Can't Be Serious. It's the whole story of Airplane.
Yeah.
And they tell the story in the book how they were in Rhode Island, and the Pete Farrelly's watching TV. He sees us on. Jerry and Jim and I were on Letterman, and he said, "Bobby, come quick! It's like you got to see these. These are the guys who did Airplane and Top Secret, and they looked like they were surprised. They were surprised that we weren't these drugged out maniacs, and we were just we were pretty preppy. Well, from Wisconsin, and
right.
and so Pete says in the book." He said, "This is right there, then and there. We decided we'll go out to L.A. because if these guys could do it, then we could do it." And we helped them. I gave them their first job. I gave Matt Stone and Trey Parker their first job. Doing a video for Universal Studios, and Trey needed a car, so that's how he bought a car. Now, of course, those guys are billionaires, and I'm applying to them.
Oh, that is so great. I guess you could say that's paying it forward. But let's talk a little bit about your that book you just mentioned. Or should we do your class first? What do you want to? We got about 3 minutes before the news.
Oh, let's do the class. Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of cool. This is a comedy crash. Is that what it's called, Jerry?
Master Crash. You go to
Master Crash.
mastercrash.com, and there are some personal interactions with me. I mean, if anybody wants that, but certainly the Paramount Studios didn't. But the normal people who actually want to learn how to do comedy can join this thing. It's because I was actually turned down by Masterclass. My manager at the time, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, applied. Hey, how about David Zucker doing and they said no. So I'm getting used to being rejected.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we're doing this course, and it centers around 15 rules that we developed when we were doing ZAZ and doing all our comedies. And I explain each rule, and their videos. It's all kind of humorously done. It's not as serious as Masterclass, and so that's already launched, and it's not too much money, so people can join in.
Where can they find out more information if they wanted to do Master Crash?
Just go to mastercrash.com. And then
Okay.
all the information is there. And partly inspired because I saw the trailer. I was starting to see the trailer and how the people who were doing Naked Gun 4 were very confident that they knew what they were doing. And yet in the trailer, a 2-minute trailer, they broke, 10 rules. So it's pretty ridiculous how, it looks easy. And the people who did Naked Gun 4 are great fans of all of our movies. Airplane, Naked Gun, Top Secret, etc., all this stuff. And and they so much want to do it. They want to join in on the fun. And so, but they really don't know how to do it. So, and I look, the guy at my dry cleaners is a big fan, but I don't know. Right. I don't think he can actually do one of these movies.
Terrible comedy writer, though.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You mentioned we've got about a minute and a half before we have to do the news. Then maybe we can get into Airplane at the top of the hour. But, I'm not going to say or insinuate it happened easily for you guys because it never does. But you were so young when you got Kentucky Fried Movie made and then Airplane. Do you feel like you just mentioned you're getting rejected now? Did you not have that experience right when you got to L.A.?
Yes, we were rejected by everyone. I mean,
okay.
What we did know how to do is, we had our own theater. It was Kentucky Fried Theater, and we did a show. We could control that. There was nobody to say no to us, like these idiots at Paramount. And so we did that, and then we did that for 5 years. We were on national TV shows, but it didn't go anywhere. So we said, gee, look, Mel Brooks is doing movies, Woody Allen's doing movies, and we weren't saying automatically we could do better, but we said we could be funny too in movies. We could be just as funny. So we started writing Airplane, and that's the first movie we wrote, of course, rejected by everybody. And then we decided, well, we'll do Kentucky Fried Movie, which was a much lower budget. That was about $600,000, and directed by John Landis. It turned out the best thing that ever happened to us because we learned how to direct.
We're going to jump into all that after the news. David Zucker is here, the creator of Airplane and The Naked Gun, among many others. And when we come back, we're going to tell you where you can see him live, too, at a really cool screening. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm going to get some water.
WGBW, Denmark, Green Bay. This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Stephanie Officer. Step 2 of President Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine took place today with the war-torn country's president sitting alongside a delegation of Europe's leaders in the Oval Office. this time in a much more welcoming environment. It comes just days after President Trump met with President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. We're told Mr. Trump reached out to Putin again today after his talks with President Zelensky to arrange a meeting.
The president posting on social media that he called President Putin to begin arrangements for a meeting. He says the first meeting that would take place would be between Putin and Zelensky, and that would be followed by another meeting that the president would then join. Still a lot of questions on when and where these meetings would take place, and of course whether these two leaders, Zelensky and Putin, can make an agreement for lasting peace.
That is ABC's Rachel Scott outside the White House. No statements were made after the meetings. This is ABC News.
As Wisconsin as a fish fry on a Friday night, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
From the 97.9 WGBW Newsroom, I'm Lisa Hale with this local news update. A 30-year-old Marinette man was killed in a head-on collision on Highway 41 in the town of Grover early Saturday morning. Marinette County Sheriff Randy Miller said a vehicle driven by Jose Javier Miejas Guerra was traveling north in the southbound lane and struck another vehicle. Miejas Guerra was killed in the crash. The driver of the other vehicle received minor injuries. Officials believe alcohol was a factor in the accident. At the dedication of a new field house at his alma mater, Indiana Pacers point guard and Oshkosh North High School alum Tyrese Halliburton announced Friday that he's going to donate $3 million over the next 3 years to benefit the school's athletic department. Now, the money will be used for new signage at the new Frank Schade Fieldhouse, video and scoreboards, and a weight room. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources announced the Warden of the Year for 2024. It's Conservation Warden Bradley Dahlquist, and he's from Northeast Wisconsin. Melissa Kay has the story.
A member of the Antigo Warden team in the DNR's Northeast region, Dahlquist received the prestigious award at a banquet on July 12th. The Haskell Noyes Warden of the Year Award, created 95 years ago, is one of the highest honors bestowed to Wisconsin conservation wardens. According to a press release from the DNR, recipients demonstrate an ability to lead a quality law enforcement conservation program that balances enforcement, education, and community involvement. Those who know him describe Dahlquist as a humble leader with a contagious can-do attitude backed by a strong drive for public service.
News at the top and bottom of the hour all day and on demand anytime at WGBW.FM. I'm Lisa Hale for 97.9 WGBW News.
A doubleheader at Wrigley Field. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers and the Cubs in a doubleheader today at Wrigley Field. Game 2 underway tonight. This afternoon, the Brewers taking Game 1, 7-0. An outstanding performance from starting pitcher Freddie Peralta, who shut out the Cubs over 6 innings, allowing just 1 run. Bryce Terang and Caleb Durbin, who's originally from Chicago, each with a couple of home runs to get things started. Abner Uribe, Jared Koenig, and Grant Anderson held Chicago to just 1 hit over the final 3 innings of relief.
Hey, David, would you mind recording a tag for our show?
Okay, what do you need me to say?
Hey, this is David Zucker, and you're listening to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Okay.
And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
Okay. Nightlight?
Yeah, Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Okay. Yeah. I'm ready anytime.
Yep, go ahead.
Hello, this is David Zucker, and you're listening to Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
All right, thank you very much.
Sure.
Life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, how come I can't sit in the front seat?
Because I love you and you're just not ready yet.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Night Light with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy whose house has an actual wiggle room, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back to Night Light, ladies and gentlemen. We are jamming through a Monday night here. A great night here at Night Light. We got a great question. We will get to your text very soon. Keep those texts coming. Our question of the night is, your life is at stake. What action star do you hope is coming to save you? We will catch up on text in just a few minutes. It's a good question tonight, Conrad.
I agree.
All right. Right now, let's get right back to it because we've got a few more minutes with comedy legend David Zucker. He is here over the stream joining us from, I assume, Los Angeles. David, are you?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles and Brentwood, but I'm soon going to be in Wisconsin.
I was just going to ask you, do you get back here very often?
All the time because, well, my kids were at UW-Madison they were 6 years, overlapped for 2 years. And so I would get there twice a year and then visit my high school friends who now live in Madison and Milwaukee. And so I'm coming in, I'm coming in Wednesday night, and Thursday night we're going to meet in, I think, Delafield, at some restaurant halfway between Milwaukee and Madison. So that'll be fun.
That's fantastic. Before I really want to talk about Airplane with you because that was your first big, huge success for you and your brother Jerry and Jim Abrahams. How did you guys write this? Like, you obviously all were on the same page from your sketch days at Kentucky Fried Theater, but can you take us into the writing room a little bit and how you guys collaborated to come up with this script?
Yeah, it was the same way that we did really most of our movies. We would play serious scenes from 0 Hour. I'm assuming everybody knows that's where we got Airplane from. It was a 1957 black and white movie, and the exact same plot. With food poisoning on an airliner, and so we just took that, played it seriously. We would use a transcript of the scene, and then we would add our jokes. So that's very much how we wrote.
Was there a scene in 0 Hour where pandemonium breaks out on the plane, and all of a sudden 2 boobs are on the screen for a split second and then move off?
Yeah, in black and white, and in the 1950s, it's incredible. Yeah. Very few people see that copy, but we like that. That's one of my favorite gags, yeah.
It's so funny. And I remember as a kid going, that is so funny that it just is out of nowhere. It's so over-the-top, gratuitous, and hilarious. It was probably my favorite. Well, as a 12-year-old, it was my favorite scene for a lot of reasons.
Of course, yeah.
It was so funny comedically, too. Such a varied cast in Airplane. You've got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Julie Haggerty, who's great, Lost in America, and Airplane alone. She should be in the Hall of Fame. But what was it like for Peter Graves, Leslie Nielsen, Robert Stack, these 3 serious actors? Like, can you tell me a little bit about what it was like getting those guys involved? Did you have to convince them?
Well, it was they were actually, somewhat brave to do this with 3 untested first-time directors, and I mean nobody had ever triple directed a movie. Peter Graves read the script. Evidently, we found out later he passed. And we found out he threw the script across the room and said, "This is the worst piece of trash I've ever read." And then, later I learned that, actors don't read the whole script. They just read their own parts. So to Peter, it may have seemed that he was playing a funny pedophile. So our producer got him to come in and meet with us. And like the Farrellys, he thought he was going to meet these drug crazed maniacs. And we were just these, very innocent guys from Wisconsin who happened to think pedophilia was funny. So we convinced him to do it, and he did. And Robert Stack kept saying, "Who else is coming to the party?" Leslie Nielsen, told his agent, "I don't tell those guys this, but I would pay them to do this." So he was in, right from the get-go. And Lloyd Bridges, I think he thought it was funny, but he tried to make sense of his lines and kept suggesting changes to his lines. And finally, I think Robert Stack in one of the rehearsals just said, "Lloyd, just keep talking. They're not looking at us. They're not listening to us. The spear's going into the wall, watermelons dropping down. Just keep talking, Lloyd."
Oh, that's so funny. My guest is David Zucker, the creative force behind Airplane, Naked Gun, Basketball, Ruthless People, and Top Secret. We're talking about Airplane, which has been preserved in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress. That's pretty cool.
I know, and who knows why, but my brother still has the original automatic pilot.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and we heard that the sled from Citizen Kane, Rosebud, that went for $14 million. So, maybe I could retire on this. More than I'm already retired.
Oh, that's of all the actors you've worked with, David, like in terms of leading men or leading women, Robert Hayes, Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley, Val Kilmer, who was the most enjoyable? And if you want to say, who was the most difficult?
Leslie probably was the most enjoyable. Charlie Sheen was great. We in between setups, we'd go out outside the studio and we always brought, our baseball gloves, and we would toss a baseball around him. He was good. I mean, he could throw it fast. And so I had to struggle to catch some of this stuff. But Anna Faris was a joy to work with, and Priscilla Presley. They were just all so nice. Everybody, I really couldn't complain about anybody. I was threatened with Michael Madsen came onto the set, and he said, people said, "Oh my God, he's going to give you trouble. He's going to eat you for lunch." And, so he comes on for the first rehearsal, and he seems a little humorless, but I started insulting him right from the start, just telling him what a terrible actor he was, and he's lucky even to be directed by me. And he never stopped laughing. So we just, every actor, you get to actors, everyone's a different way.
Tell us about, you have a couple personal appearances coming up. These sound like a lot of fun. These events are Airplane, Unreleased, the Director's Cut screenings. You'll be there doing a Q&A with Robert Hayes. How cool is that?
Robert Hayes, who I've kept in touch with. We're great friends. I visited him in Hawaii, and he comes to visit me here in LA. And then we're going, we've done a million, screenings of Airplane, and then we do a Q&A. So we have a lot of fun. The last one was at San Francisco Sketch Fest, but these dates are coming up in Seattle and Denver.
You got, October 3rd in Seattle, November 2nd in Denver. Anything a little close to home here in the Dairy State?
I hope so. Well, because these events, these dates have been selling out so well, they're going to take us further away, because I demand a first class seat. So
you've earned it. What can people? Well, the Paramount might not pay for it, but you've earned it. What can people expect in the director's cut that they haven't seen before?
Oh, it's probably hyped up more than it really deserves, because our ZAZ director's cut is 3 minutes shorter than the original.
Oh.
Yeah, we actually cut things out because we never give up. We keep editing and trying to make the movie better. We also did the same thing with Top Secret. We just trimmed a lot of stuff. So the new Top Secret cut is a little bit shorter, but there's, in comedies, they have special features and like deleted scenes. They're never any good in comedies because if they were funny, they would have been in the original release. So it's, whereas in a drama, I'm sure there's great deleted scenes from The Godfather or other movies, but not in comedies.
I feel like I haven't paid homage enough to Leslie Nielsen. This guy was truly an absolute treasure, and his whole performance, maybe my favorite moment of his is in Naked Gun when there's a car on fire going down the street. It's his car. It caught on fire, and then it makes the turn.
I was just thinking of that because then you see on Leslie's face that he slowly realizes that he shot his own car. And it's brilliant. Yeah, and Leslie,
he's like, anybody get a look at the driver?
Yeah.
I've got to get inside.
I've got to get inside. Of course, somebody had to tell him to do it that way. So,
so brilliant.
I was on the set, Pete,
Okay, right. Well, I give all the credit.
I was directing it. Thank you.
What is more fulfilling to you as a writer-director of comedy, getting good reviews or hearing a packed theater laugh uncontrollably?
I love getting good reviews. I like having a hit movie more.
Yeah.
And Basketball got great reviews, and so did Top Secret. But they didn't perform as well at the box office as Airplane and The Naked Guns and the Scary Movies. So there's nothing I like better than a hit.
Yeah. Well, a hit keeps you working too, which
Hit
is always
keeps me
nice.
working. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, David. What is your favorite project you've done with ZAZ, your brother and Jim Abrams, or Pat Proft, or whomever? And what is your favorite project you did away from those guys?
Well, my favorite project that I did with them, it has to be Airplane because, the whole thing of Airplane was, it took so long to get it financed and done by a studio. And the other basic thing about the ZAZ experience with Airplane is that you can only come from nowhere once. And that being the first, it was incredible. In fact, before it was released, the week before it was released, Jim and Jerry and I flew to Milwaukee, and my parents and Jim's parents had rented out the Fox Bay Theater on Silver Spring, and that was the theater where we went to as kids, and we saw the Three Stooges and all Saturday, all cartoons. It was a great experience having everyone we ever knew from Milwaukee there in the audience and seeing that movie for the first time. And then we did a Q&A. I wish somebody had recorded the Q&A, but actually it didn't differ too much from the ones we do today. We get the same questions.
David Zucker, thank you so much. Check out Master Crash, folks. Mastercrash.com, a crash course in spoof comedy, and you will have actual interaction with our guest, David Zucker, the brains behind a lot of, so much comedy that has affected and influenced my life, as well as millions of other people. I can't even, after I saw Airplane, David, I couldn't fly anymore, not because I was scared, just because the passengers weren't as funny as on in your movie.
Yeah, or just don't eat the food,
All right. Thank you so much. This has been a treat. I really appreciate your time and continued success, my friend.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Pete. Bye-bye.
You got it. All right. That's David Zucker. Check out all of his movies. I'm sure you've seen most of them, but and check out Conrad, don't rule out Master Crash. I'm not saying you're not funny. Yeah. I'm just saying you could use a little bump up.
Yeah. Okay.
It can't hurt, right?
Exactly.
And check out David's book as well. Surely You Can't Be Serious, The True Story of Airplane, which dropped in 2023. When we come back, we'll catch up on your texts. And then Nick Wattier is here from the Green Bay Film Festival at 7:35. It's Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
From Hobart to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW.
Isn't it about time your dog has a pool day? It's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And Saturday, August 23rd, from 10 till 1, you're going to want to get ready for the most tail-wagging event of the summer. Pooches in the pool. Bring your furry friend to the Joanne's Aquatic Center, where they can splash, swim, socialize to their heart's content. It's the perfect opportunity for your pup to show off their best doggy paddle. There are some rules in place, so please head to WGBW.fm and click events to read them.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
My name is DeMar Hamlin. I play for the Buffalo Bills, and I play safety. CPR saved my life. I've teamed up with the American Heart Association as a national ambassador to help create a nation of lifesavers, turning bystanders into lifesavers. Through CPR education and access to AEDs, nearly 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests that don't happen in hospitals happen in homes. Join me to ensure everyone has the chance to live longer, healthier lives. Visit heart.org/nation.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Missed your favorite show live on air? It's easy to find what you enjoy wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And we're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app.
Your local Civic Media radio station is your source for real news and great conversation, plus fun and exciting contests. For a complete list of contest rules, log on WGBW.
Get up home. I wanna drive them home. When you're feeling blue.
Welcome back. Great to have you with me on this Monday night, a rainy Monday night here in Green Bay. I hope it is sunny and 70 wherever you are in other parts of the state. Nick Wattier is coming up in just a few minutes. He's actually here now. You could say hi. Here. Yeah.
Hi.
He's gonna. He came in because he wants to be part of reading your texts, folks. That's what a great guy Nick
Absolutely.
is. And you said a funny line too when you came in just now.
Yeah, you did not tell me I was going to have to follow the Naked Gun guy.
Nick Wattier is following a comedy legend. No problem.
Right.
It'll be...
I mean, I'm here to talk about comedy films, but I am not a comedian. I am not a funny person.
We'll get it done. Don't worry. It's great to have you here. And Conrad, you know, being the huge basketball fan, you're almost as big a baseball fan as David seemed to be.
Yeah, no, I think he's a little bit bigger because he made it. But
yeah, he kept mentioning it though, and then I'm like, I think he wants me to talk about baseball.
Because I mean, there is Wisconsin ties to it. It's the Milwaukee Beers.
The Milwaukee.
That's the team
Beers.
name.
Sure, that's perfect. All right, our question of the night, folks, is: your life is at stake. What action hero do you hope is coming to rescue you? Do you have one, Nick?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know if this really counts because it's kind of crossing into sci-fi, but I was a huge Terminator 2 fan.
Yeah.
So if Arnold Schwarzenegger as the T-1000 could come for me, that would be amazing.
Even though the T-2000 is the one making your life in peril. Maybe.
Well, right, sure. I mean, it's all about programming, right?
Exactly. It's funny you say that because my wife said that. She said, the Terminator's a killer. She goes, no, in the second one. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, actually, I think I got that wrong. Arnold might have been the T-800.
Oh, I thought he was the T-1000, and then Robert Patrick's character was the T.
You know, I haven't seen it in so long. I still say that's my favorite movie between The Room and Terminator 2.
Wow.
Those are two polar
very
opposites,
different movies. Right? If you're stuck in the room, you want Arnold Schwarzenegger coming to save you. That's great. Steve from Florida, he's, that's Conrad's dad. And your dad has a very misleading area code, Conrad. It's 920, but he is nowhere near.
Yep. He's never changed his phone number.
Our hood. Yeah, I haven't either. I still have the 81. It's tough. But you can't change your phone number because people, it's like a social security number now. That's how people find you.
Right.
I'm not going to change my phone number every time I jump carriers, you know? So I'm saying I have a lot of respect for your dad. He says, happy Monday. For your information, Paula and I watched all the episodes of Bad Monkey this weekend starring Vince Vaughn. I highly recommend watching this. I love when listeners do this and recommend stuff. And I can see where Steve and Paula get their taste from because Conrad, or vice versa, because Conrad loved Bad Monkey. So that's a good one. I have to scroll back here. Where are we here in our text? We've got a lot to get to here. So let's... Jameson from Pennsylvania. He's in the 814. Says, Indiana Jones always pulls through. So does any Steve McQueen character. But I had to take Bo Bandit Darville from Smokey and the Bandit just for fun. Wow, that's a pull.
Yeah.
Nice one, Jameson. John Murray in the 608. He says, Rambo, as pissed off as I know I would be at time of rescue watching Rambo mow every single bad guy involved while dodging bullets coming in like rain would be a pretty gratifying resolution. Yeah, Rambo. Thank you, John. And then Melissa says, from the 608, says, John McClane, Die Hard, baby.
Ah, yes.
Getting a lot of John McClanes tonight, and that's a great one. No argument there. John says, Michael Madsen would probably be the all-time best rescuer with some revenge fanfare built in. He's my guy. That's funny because David Zucker was talking about Michael Madsen, too, and how he was... Oh, he thought he might be intimidated, but then he kind of turned the tables. From the 414, hey, Pete, great Milwaukee historian John Gerda did a whole documentary on the Kashubs. They inhabited Jones Island in Milwaukee. Yes, thank you, 414. I did mention, John's been on the show, and I did mention that to him, and I should have him back. Should I have John back just to delve into my own family tree? Would that be
I think you should.
Boring radio?
I think you should.
And I'll just take John to coffee and see what we can work out. Barb from Waukesha, she's in the 262, says Liam Neeson, not the Naked Gun version. Very well done.
Which I need to see yet, by the way.
Yeah, I saw it.
I am very excited about that.
I was excited about it, and there's some good laughs, but it's not.
Well, you can't recreate the original.
You can't.
Right?
You can't. Leslie Nielsen's too much of a treasure.
Right.
But you just can't do it.
Well, it's like your last guest just said in the last segment. Like, you can't be unknown twice.
Correct. And I was trying not to, suck up too much, but I just don't feel like, and I'm biased, but that first Airplane was just the first time I had seen that kind of comedy.
I mean, still to this day, when I'm going to work sites for shows and we have our turnover nights, we'll be making references to Airplane during the day, and our interns, in their 20s, they don't get it.
Right.
So we indoctrinate them after the load-in. We go, come on, guys, let's go watch the movie so you understand what we're talking about.
Jim from Appleton, he's in the 920, says, Bruce Willis, the asteroid movie Armageddon. That man can rescue you anywhere. Very well done. 414 says, a quick Google research will find you the documentary. They had their own village. Oh, this is the Kashubs. I'm going to read this, so we'll have John Gerda on. Thank you very much, 414. That's great. And then Jim from Brookfield says, hey, Pete, if my life was in grave danger, I would be greatly relieved if I saw any of the James Bonds at the rescue. Another great one. We haven't heard that one yet. He says they have the smarts and the latest gadgets. Jim from Brookfield. Bridget says Wonder Woman. She's in the 818. I love her strength, compassion, and dedication to justice. Women need representation as rescuers and heroes. Agreed. Do we have a phone call, Conrad?
Yeah, Ollie from the Northwoods.
Oh, Ollie's on. Ollie, how are you?
I'm doing good. I got Mighty Mouse is my hero because he saves people by land, air, and sea. And not only does he save the people, he saves the day.
I love that. Is about the cutest action hero I've heard all night, Ollie. That's fantastic.
And I've got a little something. I'm all about food and pairing foods and wines, etc. And I say couch potato would go very well with Kachub sausage.
Oh, man. Conrad, we got our promo. That's beautiful. We're going to use that, Ollie. Thank you very much. You have a great night.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Ollie. Anna from Madison says, Pete, I just heard David say that Leave It to Beaver was a big influence on him. Now I know why Barbara Billingsley, Mrs. Cleaver, was in Airplane. Yes, her scene in Airplane was hilarious. Great catch, Anna. I can't believe I didn't think of that when it happened. All right, keep those texts coming, folks. When we come back, we're going to do a quick news dealio here, and then when we come back, Nick Watier, you'll officially be here after the news.
Oh, okay.
You're sort of here now, but you're like a CIA
That's all right.
guy.
It's all good.
All right, we're coming back. It's Pete Schwaba on Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Under strength, and you're jumping on.
Yes, you're jumping on a fast train.
97.9 WGBW and WGBW.FM. As Wisconsin is dropping a line in your favorite fishing spot, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Stephanie Officer. Step 2 of President Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine took place today with the war-torn country's president sitting alongside a delegation of Europe's leaders in the Oval Office, this time in a much more welcoming environment. It comes just days after President Trump met with President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. We're told Mr. Trump reached out to Putin again today after his talks with President Zelensky to arrange a meeting.
The president posting on social media that he called President Putin to begin arrangements for a meeting. He says the first meeting that would take place would be between Putin and Zelensky, and that would be followed by another meeting that the president would then join. Still a lot of questions on when and where these meetings would take place, and of course whether these two leaders, Zelensky and Putin, can make an agreement for lasting peace.
That is ABC's Rachel Scott. Outside the White House, no statements were made after the meetings. This is ABC News.
A doubleheader at Wrigley Field. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball, the Brewers and the Cubs in a doubleheader today at Wrigley Field. Game 2 underway tonight. This afternoon, the Brewers taking Game 1, 7-0. An outstanding performance from starting pitcher Freddie Peralta, who shut out the Cubs over 6 innings, allowing just 1 run. Bryce Terang and Caleb Durbin, who's originally from Chicago, each with a couple of home runs to get things started. Abner Uribe, Jared Koenig, and Grant Anderson held Chicago to just 1 hit over the final 3 innings of relief. A recap of Game 2 coming up later tonight. NFL, the Packers holding a closed practice, only open to the media today outdoors despite a steady rainfall in Green Bay. Jordan Love already back on the practice field, limited but participating just a week after having thumb surgery. Love ran the offense during 7-on-7, wearing some protection on his injured left hand. Malik Willis ran the offense. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Fans of the show do not seem happy with how Carrie Bradshaw's storyline ended. And just like that is the follow-up to Sex and the City and finished its 3rd and last season last Thursday night. Variety called the finale a bizarre ending to a bizarre show. I'm not going to risk spoilers here, so check out the final episode and send me your opinions on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Would love to know what you think. Some franchises get tired and others keep turning out content that is probably worth checking out. Such is the case, in my opinion, of Alien Earth, the latest show from the Alien brand, which started back in 1979 with the feature film starring Sigourney Weaver. In this new iteration, they bring the alien to Earth after a crash landing. Noah Hawley is the creative force behind the show and is known for turning the Fargo movie into a successful TV show. He appears to be crushing it so far, as Alien Earth is pulling a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. The show's first 2 episodes dropped last Thursday night on Hulu. An episode a week will drop moving forward. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
As Wisconsin is brats on the grill for a tailgate, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Some evening storms, then partly cloudy tonight, a low in the upper 60s. Mostly sunny and still a little muggy for tomorrow, highs in the low 80s. And near 80 Wednesday, a little less humid. A slight shower chance late Thursday and Friday. Currently at 62 degrees.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.us.
I was stuck in a state of panic and endless rituals. So I made the call.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Wisconsin's own
Great to have you with me, folks, on this Monday night. This is how we start the week off. We had a great conversation with writer, director, and native Wisconsin son, David Zucker. And then we have a great question tonight. You can still get in on the fun if you want. If your life is at stake, what action star would you hope is coming to save you? So we are almost caught up with text, but right now we're going to turn our attention to a really cool event that's happening here locally. It's right around the corner, and a guy who joins me in the studio now, who is no stranger to Nightlight. He's been here several times, and he does a great job running the Green Bay Film Festival. Nick Wattier. Hey, buddy.
Pete, it's great to be back.
Great to have you here, and I love that you come into the studio. You could have easily, we just talked about this last night, you could have phoned it in, literally.
Yeah, well.
But you're here in person.
It's
great
easier to conversate when you can see who you're speaking
Totally
with.
agree. So you're just, you're on the road all over the place. Nice to be home.
Yeah. Well, I just got back from a few days, a couple weeks actually in Ohio. So professionally, my work is in producing concert events.
Yeah.
I work for a company in town called Lighthouse Productions. We do all the parking lot concerts out at Lambeau Field for game days.
Nice.
And, we had Flo Rida a couple years back. And so I'm usually the video guy. I show up at the screens, or in a corporate event setting, projectors. I show up with the cameras and direct the live show. So for me, the film festival is just a little side hobby project.
Yeah.
It's just a nice way for me to give back to that filmmaker community. Whereas in my day-to-day life, I'm spending a lot more time figuring out, if I hang this much video wall, will the roof collapse?
So that's your day job, but it's still in the biz, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's
nice. Interesting because it's in the biz, but I don't get to do post. Everything I do is live.
Okay.
So that's why, I don't mind coming in and doing broadcasts. This is comfortable to me because at least I don't have to stare at my audience.
Kind of nice when you don't have to edit something too.
Oh
right?
my
'Cause
gosh,
that can be tedious. It can be exhilarating, but also kind of tedious.
Well, I imagined with your film, I mean, you probably shot for a week or two and edited for 3 months?
If you're talking about The Godfather of Green Bay, which is the only project I've ever been a part of where all the other stuff was writing, and it's like, thanks for the script, go away. It was, I want to say even longer. We shot for a month and it was like 6 weeks of editing.
Right.
And I had to commute from where I lived to Santa Monica, which was a headache.
Yeah.
So, but I will say when you do something in editing that you really dig, that's very exciting.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
But let's keep the focus on the Green Bay Film Festival, because it's just a treasure you have here locally. You guys have kind of a different format where you have events throughout the year, which I love.
Yeah.
And you have a few coming up, so let's jump in.
Well, September 13th, we'll be at the Tarleton Theater, right downtown Green Bay, the old historic West Theater. And we're going to actually be running a comedy series. So it was fantastic that you paired us with the guests that you did, because, I mean, if you like comedy, this is the place to be.
Absolutely.
So we'll be showing, I want to say it's 9 or 10 films, all comedy, some of them shorts, some of them what we lovingly refer to as long shorts, 20 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
And then we'll have one feature film called The Anxiety Club, which is absolutely phenomenal. I literally watched it before coming here today. Just hilarious. It's a documentary about anxiety and how it shows itself in different people, but it's told through the eyes of stand-up comedians.
Right.
So it's clips cut in from their stand-up shows. It's one of the people in the film takes the cameras to therapy with her and is going through exposure therapy where, okay, you have a helicopter parenting issue. Tomorrow, I want you to leave the kids alone downstairs while you go up and read a book for 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And you got to see her experience this and go through it and process it, and then see a bit of that comedic process on how they spin that, and
like
make
how she
material
writes a
from it.
joke.
Right.
Oh, that's so great.
Right. Like, because so much material, and I'm sure you've been exposed to this, so much of the best material is the truest material.
Yeah.
Right. And those comedians that go up there and speak, they're not joking when they say they have issues. I mean, it's to the point, and they address it in the film. Hollywood's Laugh Factory actually now has a psychologist in residence to work with their comedians that come and work for them.
That's so great.
So it's a great piece, and what I think is so special and has us so excited is we've got special guests coming in addition to the film. The director and producer, Wendy Lobel, is going to be there.
Okay.
We're going to have guests from the ATT Center, which is a local private outpatient therapy center.
Love it.
They do so much work in counseling, therapy. They're even a licensed safe ketamine-assisted therapy center. I'm not sure how many they're sending, but they're like, well, we've got a dozen or so therapists that might come. We're going to get you a panel.
Wow.
And then, surprise for your listeners, you're going to be there.
I'm going to be there. I can't wait. You can have me MC some stuff.
Yeah, we'll have you part of
Maybe
that talk
I'll be
back.
funny. Yeah.
Maybe you'll get to tell some of your material. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun night.
It sounds like a blast, and I'm very honored that you even asked, because I don't get asked to do a lot of this stuff. And I was a stand-up full-time in the 90s and toured all over and was on TV, and it was the best time of my life for a guy in his 20s. And some of these people, like Mark Maron, I remember, working with him back in the 90s. Now he's a legend.
Well, and he's in the film, too.
He's in the film that you mentioned.
Yeah.
How funny, Nick, is the movie? Like, it's about anxiety, but is it a really funny movie, or is it more about their process and how they channel their anxiety?
So the thing to me that makes it so funny is how relatable all the moments are.
Okay.
With Tiffany Jenkins talking about her, helicopter parenting, and how I'm always like, I can picture in my head my child on the trampoline is going to break their neck. Like, as a parent, I can completely identify with that.
Me too.
And then you can hear the comedy that comes from it.
Okay.
And it's almost the relief, the release of, yes, this is concerning and hurtful, but is it that big? Right. And hearing the way the therapist adjusts that. So I would say, like, this film in particular is a solid mix of, truth and seriousness and drama, but still really funny, because you get to hear those stand-ups doing their material, and then it's not so much about writing. It's more about the anxiety and the performance.
Okay.
The writing, it comes into it, but it's more subtle.
That is the voice of Nick Watier. He is joining us in studio here tonight. We're talking about the Green Bay Film Festival, a great film festival right here in downtown Green Bay that takes place typically at the Tarleton Theater. They have events throughout the year. We're discussing September 13th, which is going to focus on comedy. I will be there in some capacity, emceeing to a degree. And we're talking about the film Anxiety Club, which I've heard about this movie. So is it hard to get awards. A movie like this for your festival?
The process that we use, there's a website out there that's very commonly used for film festivals called Film Freeway.
Yeah.
And people can go online, submit their films. They upload copies of the film, and they'll send them to us saying that they would like to be considered. And normally our threshold is that you need to be made within the last year or two.
Okay.
To be able to submit. And sometimes things get through that are a little older, but typically it's newer material. And then we just start watching everything. We've got a team of about 15 reviewers,
nice.
Which is a volunteer team. If anyone's interested, you can reach out to us, join the team. But basically we rate these films and try to bring the best here to Green Bay to really create that cultural experience for the city.
Yeah.
Bring the good stuff here, and also, celebrate the local artists.
It's so great, too, because if you haven't been to a film festival, folks, you have to experience it. To me, like, you're going to see good movies, but it's these Q&As that really make the experience worthwhile and put them over the top, as opposed to just going to a movie. When you can see how a director's process works and they answer your questions, that to me is worth the price of admission alone. All right, so what else do you have? You got comedy September 13th. Where can people get tickets if they want to go to
so the comedy tickets just went on sale about a week ago, and we have a vanity URL for this. It's GBFF, Green Bay Film Festival.
Okay.
GBFF.fun /comedy.
That puts a lot of pressure on you guys, though.
Right?
You got to bring the fun now.
Our board member, Elliot Christensen, says we need to be 100% fun. In all of our decisions, we want to be fun. So even if it's a romance or a drama series, we're trying to find the fun and bring that to you.
You said on October 11th is your next event after the comedy night, or the comedy event on the 13th, is sci-fi.
Yes.
I would imagine that sci-fi would be jam-packed, no matter what.
Sci-fi is packed. And what I like to see in sci-fi, and I actually have a little differing opinion than some of the other board members, I like to see what people can do on the shoestring budget.
Okay.
I like to see those people who were really struggling, like, not this year, but next year we have a film in the process that I just screened, made by a bunch of college students. They clearly didn't have any money. It was probably a student project. They have some decent but elementary special effects to make glasses look silly. if you can imagine like the old 1980s music videos, kind of, money for nothing style glass.
Oh, yeah, right. The Ray-Bans.
Yeah, so they've got that kind of thing going. But as you watch the film and you see the story that the students are telling, and you see the way that they work with what they have available to them, they've got essentially a dolly shot that they're tracking somebody running down the road, and it had to be, I don't know, car mounted or dollied across the street. They didn't have any cars cross the shot. Like, did they shut it down? Did they just pick something? Like, the fact that they were able to tell the story the way that Hollywood would have without Hollywood money is what blows my mind. And I love celebrating that at the festival. And I can't wait to see what our sci-fi filmmakers have done, because that's a genre that's usually built on special effects and built on costuming and built on location. And when I see a project that was clearly, not $100,000 budget, I would say most of the films we play are under a $15,000 budget.
No kidding. Wow, that's so great.
And to see those people able to create their art and put it out there is what really speaks to my heart.
Some of my favorite films have been movies, and maybe, subconsciously you're thinking, I can't believe they did this for this amount of budget. The original Meet the Parents that my writing partner did, or Clerks, or like some of these films where it's like, they're just so, the story has to be so creative because they don't have the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Clerks in specific, most of that movie is a 2-shot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right? They didn't do a lot of inserts. They didn't do a lot of close-ups. They didn't take the minute per page that Hollywood says you have to.
Right. Oh, wow, well said. All right, so you got Sci-Fi coming up October 11th. As yet to be determined what the films will be?
They are decided. I'm just not educated.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough. We'll let you off the hook. We know you're traveling all over the place. And then an environmental theme on November 15th.
Yes, and in that one, we'll have a big documentary. Boy, I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I'm sorry about that, but it's about clean waters.
Okay.
And we also have a panel planned for that where we're going to bring some people in from the United Nations to speak about the clean water efforts in the Bay. And I believe we have some people from the DNR on the hook. I don't know if they've confirmed yet.
How do you, Nick, do this with, like you just said, the capacity of the Tarleton is 120.
Sure.
How many people do you have? Like, I feel like half the people listening want to go for the guests you have, almost just as interested as they would be in the movie. Is there usually a breakdown?
Well, and what we try to do, right, is we try to pace out the day and space it out, right? So we really want to show as much material as we can while still respecting everybody's time. So we'll do an early session where we'll typically have a collection of shorts, and then a later session which will intentionally have a little short on material, but then have room for that talk back and give designated time for each filmmaker that's there to speak.
I love your format. I love what you guys do there, and I can't wait to be a part of it on the 13th. We'll talk more about that with our guest, Nick Watier from the Green Bay Film Festival. And I want to ask you about a couple films you screened recently that are really good, too. We're going to do that and finish up your text when we close things down here after this very short break. Don't go away, folks. It's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And you know it just ain't easy. Open up your heart, let's come together. Use a little more, and we will make it work out better.
Local news, weather, and sports on air and streaming on the Civic Media app. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
We are the National Park Foundation, and together with you, we're creating a future where every person, every generation gets their chance at an unforgettable moment. Learn more at nationalparks.org/foundation.
Missed your favorite show live on air? It's easy to find what you enjoy wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And we're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app.
Your local Civic Media radio station is your source for real news and great conversation, plus fun and exciting contests. For a complete list of contest rules, log on wgbw.fm/contest-terms. Download the Civic Media app in the Google Play or Apple App Store and take us everywhere. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Small businesses are the heart of America. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Find a mentor today at score.org.
As Wisconsin has
Welcome back to Night Light. I am very excited about tomorrow night's show. Conrad, I don't know. Do you keep a tidy apartment?
I would say kind of tidy.
What about you, Nick? You can keep your... Well, both of you would be well served to tune in tomorrow night because we are going to have the Merry Maids in here in person. Ooh. They're going to give us cleaning tips and like shortcuts, and maybe they'll even spruce the place up a little bit. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty clean.
It looks pretty all right.
Yeah, it's not too bad. This is like immaculate as far as I'm concerned. But we'll have the Merry Maids here in studio tomorrow night at 6:35. And then this is exciting too. I mentioned this earlier in the show. Sean Hanish, one half of the creative force behind Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, will be here at 7:20. His producing partner on the film, Kelly Call. I finally tracked down Kelly's email. He gave me a business card at the Wisconsin Film Festival, and it's probably buried in my suitcase somewhere. But anyway, we're going to have Kelly on at some point. Sean is going to be on tomorrow night to discuss the Brewers' hot streak. And is there a score yet in the second game?
Actually, it got rescheduled. Yeah, okay. For tomorrow. So it's 1:40 tomorrow, and then I believe 7:30.
It's brutal because I'm a Cub fan, and the second I decided to start following the Cubs this year, they had the best record in baseball, and then the Brewers won 15 games. I'm like, that's so Schwaba. So Sean is going to come on tomorrow night because I mentioned to him, hey, I wonder if your documentary, is kind of motivated the Brewers. It's such a great film. So we'll talk about that with Sean tomorrow. I'm not the first person that mentioned it to him, but I might be the first Cub fan that mentioned it to him. So it'll be good to talk to Sean tomorrow as well. Let's see. How are we doing on text, Conrad? Are we caught up for the most part?
We got a couple more texts.
All right. Steve, your dad also says, with my life on the line and my life at stake, I would hope the original Charlie's Angels would save me. Well, at least if they fail, Steve, you'll enjoy the scenery.
There you go.
So you could do well. You could do worse than that. John from Madison says, Michael could do it well out of character as just Michael, rest his soul. I think I missed part of that. Was he talking
about Michael Myers?
Michael Madsen?
Michael Madsen, yes, because John said Michael Madsen. Love Michael Madsen. God rest his soul. Thank you, John. And then John also says, Peter, a great movie suggestion from back in 1984 or 85, Brian De Palma's Body Double. I saw Body Double. I love it so much. I still keep the VHS tape. Melanie Griffith is amazing. And Craig Wesson and Greg Henry are fantastic. And the Brian De Palma direction style is iconic. A must-see. I think I'm going to rewatch that. I have not. I saw that like years and years ago, and I don't even remember what my opinion is on it. So obviously I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. But maybe now I would get more enjoyment out of it.
Well,
Thank you,
isn't
John.
it hard these days with just how much we use the word content now?
Yeah.
But just how much content is released? How do you keep up with all of it?
That's what I say that to people. Like I'll ask guests what they're watching, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm really behind. I just got to Breaking Bad." Well, there's thousands of shows now, and a lot of them are great. How do you keep up?
I have a bunch of friends who are Trekkies.
Okay.
And they hate that I can't talk Star Trek with them. But I don't know where to start.
Right.
How many seasons of how many different shows and how many movies are there?
Yeah.
Right? There's something like 13 movies, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like Nick, Star Wars runs together.
yeah.
I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, and I'll talk about it with my son. I'll go, Dad, how could you not know that was from the one-off? And I'm like, they're all good.
Yeah.
I like them, but I can't keep track of them.
There's 9 Star Wars movies, and then there's the Solo movie, and
Andor and Rex and all those shows.
And I love the Mandalorian series. That was fantastic. And now apparently there's 3 more series I haven't started.
Right. You'll get to them in a few years. Paula Conrad's mom checks in and says, Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon. I don't know that character.
Oh, he's the main character.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's the one that trains the dragon first.
His name is Hiccup?
Hiccup, yeah.
I saw that film when it came out in theaters.
That's his name, yep.
Okay. Huh. I'm not doubting your mom. Last person I want to get into it with is Paula Krieger, because I know better. And are these stream comments meant for us, Con?
I don't know.
Don, I don't understand the first word, and the second one is freedom with an exclamation point. So he feels strongly about that. Thank you, Don. We've got a couple more minutes here with our guest, Nick Watier, who is here. Nick and I were just talking about September 13th. They're doing a comedy event at the Green Bay Film Festival at the Tarleton Theater. I'll be there sort of hosting and that kind of thing. Come by. The movie is Anxiety Club, and I've heard it's great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. Just getting to see, stand-up comedians processing their lives and navigating comedy while also dealing with anxiety, which I think is probably the most relatable story in the world right now. Who doesn't suffer from some degree of anxiety?
Oh, my gosh. And it's like a lot of us just, like they say kids today have so much anxiety. We probably had it too, but it just wasn't addressed or whatever. It came out in various ways, I wanted to ask you, No Packers, No Life. Have you guys shown that film?
Gosh. Fantastic.
Craig Benstein's so great.
Yes, we showed that earlier this year, and actually that was my daughter, who is now 9, as of yesterday. Happy birthday, Avila.
Nice. Happy birthday.
She was actually named after a film that we screened, The Incredible Adventures of JoJo and His Annoying Little Sister, Avila. But anyways, she turned 9, and she was at the screening with No Packers, No Life. And if you haven't seen it, it's a documentary of the Green Bay Packers fan club from Japan, and how somebody local to Green Bay got them all tickets to a game and flew them out and gave them the authentic Green Bay experience with tailgating. And they went to a summer game. They went to a winter game. It is an unbelievable.
And they went on the Zip and Pippin, right?
They went on the Zip and Pippin. So it's not terribly old, right? Because that's only like 7 years old.
I love it because Craig's been on the show a couple times, and I interviewed him on PBS Wisconsin too. These Packer fans are so passionate they watch old VHS tapes of Green Bay Packers games.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just a sampling of the kind of stuff you'll see at the Green Bay Film Festival, folks. Check it out. Go to the website. They do so much great stuff. Nick Watier, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You followed David Zucker just fine.
Well, thank you.
Not many people.
That's strong praise. I don't think I deserve it, but thank you.
You do, buddy. All right, we're coming back tomorrow night. We're going to do it all over again. On behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad, I'm Pete Schwaba saying good night, Wisconsin.
Sing it to